said, but let's go. So today we're going to be unboxing the Prusa MK3S. It is the latest and greatest Prusa printer. If you go and just search Prusa, which is the last name of a guy from the Czech Republic, these printers are made near Prague, but it has been unbelievable story about this guy, this startup guy that created his own software and his own 3D printer. Now, when you get these 3D printers, they are unassembled, and they take a while to unassemble them, and that's not what I'm going to be doing exactly today. I'm going to be unboxing it. There is a little bit of shakiness here, and I want to make sure that it's not broken. I want to look at the build quality and see what it actually looks like. So we're going to take a look at that. But just as far as 3D printing go, if you have any questions about 3D printing, you can join me on this live stream at 11 a.m. on Saturday mornings. So if you have any discussion that, oh yeah, that's nice bowl. Yeah, we got a bowl here. I gotta take care of this bowl. Yeah, I did have a nice breakfast. Thanks for asking. So anyways, let's get on to business. I'm gonna go around to my little fancy dancy table here, and I'm gonna make this a very exciting video, and I'm not sure how. Why? Wait a second, I got a call. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not, okay. Yeah. Well, I love you too. Okay, yeah. Oh, you're sweet. All right, let's go ahead and get this done here. First of all, like I said, maybe you missed this before. This was shipped all the way from the Czech Republic. It looks like a garbage bag that I would put in my kitchen and I would take out to the garbage. But apparently there is a printer underneath here that has been very sought after. This printer is around $750 US. Normal printers are about 200 bucks used. But you can pay, like my MakerBot that I bought, my MakerBot replicator, that was $5,000. I bought it for $400 used, but I don't spend a lot of money because I usually fix the 3D printer. In this situation, the reason why that I got a Prusa is I really want some reliable prints. And my friend Byron was doing some production at the beginning of COVID for a COVID push stick, so you wouldn't have to touch the doors. I'll go ahead and link that below on his Etsy store. And it was such a success. I wanted to basically had what Byron had. So Byron had 3 Prusas running inside of his house in a really nice production environment, so I just wanted to be able to check that out. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to take a look at this thing, and I'm going to go around. I won't be able to monitor the chat, but luckily there's only like 2 people on the chat. But we're going to remove this garbage bag and we're going to see what's in it. But you got to wait about a month to 8 weeks. That's 4 to 8 weeks to get this, you know, 1 to 2 months. So Prusa is the last name of the guy that started this up, if you just Google it. And there's probably hundreds and thousands of Prusa videos out there, but this is my Prusa. And I'm really looking forward to replacing something like this little guy here, which is Maker Farm, which was the first Prusa built machine it uses. It's called a Prusa i3V, Prusa being the last name of this guy in the Czech Republic that makes really good 3D printers. But this is an old version and someone built it. I'm looking to replace that. Most of my, what I call my mini 3D printing farm, is over to the left, and then I've done a couple videos about what you can make for 2021. And as I'm opening that up, I might as well talk about that last video that I made a little bit. So I recently made a video about what you can print in 2021. So I did 50 things you can print in 2021. And what happened with that video was interesting. So it got a lot of views. Didn't go viral or anything, but maybe 100,000 views. But what's interesting about it is that the majority of the people seem to like it. all I was trying to do was sharing ideas. Yes, I did go on Thingiverse and on all these other sites and grab that content, and I didn't print that content, but all I was doing was try to inspire people so that they could get some ideas. I like using Fusion a lot, so what I thought maybe is we could get inspired and we could go make our own things, and so that was my point. So I'm just opening this box up here, and I have a congratulations letter on getting a new 3D printer, and I have a book, and I have basically a bolt list for the exactly what needs to happen, which is slightly scary because there's a lot of stuff there. It looks like a lot of the directions are online, but man, it is a really nice looking printed manual. And I gotta tell you, you know why I like printed manuals? I'm just kind of old school, and I like to read the manual before I assemble it. I very rarely ever assemble anything with when I assemble something, I don't look at the manual. I get myself familiar, like I'm gonna look at this here. This is assembly instructions. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it together, kind of maybe with a video in the background, but I'm gonna definitely read up on this. But looking more into things, it looks like I have a 3D printing handbook. Maybe that might be interesting to, it says, do not forget to tag your prints with Prusa. A little bit of social media connection here. And now I'm gonna be opening this up. Okay, this looks like it's the Axis. All right, so these Ziploc bags are extremely thick and nice, and it's all labeled. It says the 2 Axis right there. That looks like it's gonna be something useful. Again, I have another list of, they actually have a hot end. They actually did some QA, and they did a graph of what the actual hot end was producing. So they actually show you the data, which is really cool. This is like a receipt you would get at the grocery store, but yet it looks like they did all of their QA on the sheet. So it says basically that the USB works, the firmware works, the Z-axis moves, everything that's in the box has been tested, and it's all on that receipt right there. So I think that that is super cool because I don't have to guess if I put this thing together whether or not it works. And since I'm a data guy, I love this actual data that's there. All right, so let's take a look at a few more parts here. This looks like it is the actual computer that runs it here. It's called the Delta PSU. And this is the power cord. And now we have 3 more. We have tons of boxes in here. We have the plastic part sets, which are orange, of course, the classic Prusa color. And then we have all the 3D printed parts. Okay, so the interesting thing about a Prusa printer is that I think it's the most interesting thing is that they had obviously the Mark III, Mark II, Mark I, that, you know, that's the old version that was you basically DIY'd. But what's cool is you always can scale up the printer. So right now they're at Mark III, there's an enhanced version, but you print the parts, like it's a plus, Mark III plus, and then you can maybe speed or extra parts, or maybe it changes the heating beds, or maybe when the filament it stops, it will notify you and it will stop the actual print so that you can feed the filament more in the morning. You should be looking at your printer and not having it run at night, but the entire world is printing in the evening, so they want to be able to monitor it. So what's cool about the new versions of the Prusa is that if you mess up, you can continue that. So getting some of the upgrades is really essential, but I love their versioning because if you were to upgrade the printer later on, you still can use the base structure, the skeleton structure of what they release for. So I believe me, if you got a Mark III, you can upgrade it all the way up to what I ordered. I ordered the latest one, and it took 4 weeks to get here. So I think that that's what's important. So a lot of people are printing the actual kit, the upgrade kits. So these are 3D printed parts. It's the machine that makes itself. So all the bags are labeled, and it, you know, when I'm looking at this, these look like actual 3D printed parts, which is kind of interesting because one of the markets that I go into a lot in some of my advanced stuff, my advanced videos, is I talk about the non-sexy business of 3D printing. I'm talking about the things you can do in 3D printing that are not tchotchkes. They're not things that you would have for little tiny gifts and octopuses and all types of keychains. There's a non-sexy part of 3D printing, and I think this is what's interesting is in this bag, is that these things aren't necessarily something you'd put on your keychain, but they're very valuable because they actually make something. So I think that that is super cool. And so these are more printed parts, the hinge top, hinge bottom, the door, and stuff like that. All right, so now we have that. I'm gonna probably go ahead and close up this box. But I will probably end up, out of all the advice that I've watched on YouTube, if you're going to start up anything in your garage that can actually make money, where you're going to be printing something and you found something you can sell on Etsy, and you found something that you can sell on eBay or OfferUp or whatever it else is, what's important is when you go and print that, you have a reliable printer. Now, the printer may be reliable, but you may not have the patience to deal with it. So I think by having the same types of printers, you get to know that like a really good, like you would know your bike or your car, and you can go ahead and nail that with that perfection that you want in a 3D print. Yeah. So the Prusa Print Farm, Dum Dev, is that actually your name? That's pretty cool. All right, that is. So there's one of the coolest Prusa print farms, and I like the fact that you mentioned that, because if you want to get into 3D printing, you don't necessarily have to have your own printer. I would suggest you having one good, reliable printer. But everyone says, oh, build a print farm and then you can start manufacturing. But that's not necessarily true. Once you get your part, you can go find other people to do that. And one of the simple ways you can do it is get to know who's 3D printing in your area. And if you put out an ad for a used Prusa, most likely you can create a conversation on Craigslist or OfferUp. Get to know those people and then farm that business out so you can go to a print farm. But one of the coolest print farms, Prusa print farms, is out there. There is a guy that makes, there's a company, if someone knows it, put it in the chat, but he makes the accessories for Nerf guns. He actually makes the little bullets, and he makes other things that go inside of the Nerf guns. So I think that's the coolest business, but he's got a full farm of Prusas. And by the way, this is the large version of the Prusa. There is a small version, which is a lot more economical. So if you don't need the print volume and some of the other features, you get a lot more with that. And if you check Prusa's website, there's no affiliation here, you can see maybe that one of the printers will actually ship faster, the mini or this larger one. So just kind of looking at, and I'm glad I get to answer any questions right now if you have them. This box is a little bit heavier. We have approximately, I'd say, holy crap, there's a little surprise in there. There's something I didn't expect in this box. Wait 1 second, I'll tell you that. All right, so there's obviously Joseph Prusa right there. I love how you can put, I would love to have a product that I put my name and then I just put my real name down below. That's pretty sweet. All right, so this box is chocked full of stuff. I mean, oh my gosh, it is beautifully labeled. But if this is any indication about how this printer prints, I mean, about what the organization and the stainless steel screws, it is just amazing. And the illustration that's on the front here, you can see that there's belts right there. That's pretty cool. This is the LCD that's right there. And we have zip ties. I love zip ties. Has to be my favorite consumable tool is zip ties. The wire harnesses, those look really built. As I'm looking at this, you know, one of the things that I have to tell you that I find, this box is just chock full. It even has pliers and a screwdriver. I mean, that is just incredible. Oh, look, some glue. That's good and bad, but I use glue a lot to put your prints to the 3D bed, but you got to do what works. Sometimes you use a heated table and sometimes you don't. I have tons of glue around my shop. This looks like it's lubricant here, and we have a power cord, and it looks like there is a power supply. Nope, there's one little box down here, and that is the ELE. So that looks cool. All right, looks like I'm gonna have a little bit of work to do for assembly. I'll do a time-lapse assembly on that. All right, so here I'm gonna give you the surprise in case you gotta go and eat some Cheerios. This is the surprise. Ready? You're not gonna believe this. Gummy bears. There was a thing of gummy bears all the way from Prague. Can you believe that? I can't believe it. I'm not gonna eat them. I don't like gummy bears, but I'm gonna give them to my daughter, but I hope. It says, kids are grown-ups, love it so, the happy world of Haribo. I've never had a Haribo gummy bear, so if you want these, I'll send them to you, but maybe I'll try one later on. All right, so a little bit of padding. We got 3 boxes left. This here looks like it is, I think this is the bed. Let's take a look. Yes. Oh, yes. This looks like the bed, the steel sheet. It's a steel sheet. That's the heated bed right there. And this looks like it is actually the heated plate because I can see all the electricity below it. It's called the PSU.HB. So that's pretty cool. All right, we're getting close to the end here. And we have the filament, which is kind of heavy for this box. It was definitely part of the weight of the box. So anytime I find something like this, I don't have to assemble it, so I kind of get excited. And we have 2 final things. These look like, this is the motor kit. Now my friend Byron told me there was a few things assembled in this newest one, and that makes it a little bit easier. And here is the motor kit. Okay, so that's all the drive motors and everything else to do that. Let's take a look at a little bit closer one here. I'm pulling it out, and that is the step motor. There are 3 step motors that are matching in size, and then there's 2 smaller step motors, beautifully packaged, unbelievable. Very heavy, very quality stuff here. So I think what I'm hoping to do is I gotta find one printer that I really, really trust, and then basically go out and maybe get some other people involved, not create a printing farm in my place, because I have the 5 3D printers. But it would be nice if I could just find someone in my local area, which is Raleigh, North Carolina, and just say, hey, I need 5 of these parts. I know these gummies are going to be, I think I am going to eat the gummies. But anyways, find someone locally in this area and say, hey, do you mind 3D printing this? I'll split the profits with you, or just pay you. If I'm selling the part for 12 bucks, maybe I'll pay them $5, because 3D printing is not magic. Definitely there's a art to it. But if you've got a printer like this Prusa or something else that you really trust and it gets cranked out, that maybe you can print for me. I don't know. Or if everyone's familiar with drop shipping, I'll just tell you the address, and basically it comes from you. Like, you can send a gift from Amazon to someone else. That's drop shipping, and that's really big, and so just a huge market. Okay, and there's one last thing. We're now down to the empty box. At this point, I'm grateful that the filament was part of it because that's something I don't need to assemble, like I said. And this is a very, very heavy box, and it doesn't say what it is. It just basically says 234586S, okay? I'm not sure exactly what that is, but let's take a look. And it is the rails. And this looks like wick I could blow. Oh, this is where you put the wires in. But I gotta tell you, these are stainless steel, beautifully manufactured rails. So there is a little package in there, but oh, they're just gorgeous. I mean, I don't know, I mean, I am a geek when it comes to things, but these are some beautiful rails. So there are 6 of these rails. So there's people out there that have done time lapses, and probably one of the most interesting, so that's it for the unboxing. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the Prusa and when I'm going to assemble it next. So I'll do a time lapse of the assemble. My friend Byron's going to help me out. Thank you, Byron. Byron has had 3 of these, and he kind of really knows them well. I got to learn the Prusa slicer a little bit. I'm used to the printers that directly, the MakerBots that directly hook to the computer. I'll be doing just like I do with my resin printer. I got a great video on printing resin miniatures. And I think that I like this idea that you can take your SD card over and put it in your thing and then run that job. I have been using 3D printers primarily with prototyping from Fusion. And this year, I would really like to get into more manufacturing, primarily because I like it. So it's probably, it's definitely the tool that I have the most of. Now I have like 5 3D printers, but I'm not bragging so much because you can buy used 3D printers and that's not necessarily good. I think you want one good, reliable printer. Okay, that's not one that it curls up on the bed. This is assuming you know how to slice your files. You got to know how to slice your files, which means send them to a piece of software and it will get it right. So which means sometimes you want a very thick layer and sometimes you want a very thin layer if you want the accuracy. And there's all different ways you can smooth it out after you're done. So you have to know how to slice, you know the software. But you really need a reliable 3D printer. And so that's what I'm glad maybe people can, I can join me on this Prusa journey of mine and see what the difference is with Prusa to my MakerBots. I own all MakerBots except I own an Anycubic resin printer, which is just little crapper that I do all my resin miniatures out, and it just does well. On the topic of resin miniatures, I really don't like working with the actual chemicals of a resin printer, but I definitely really enjoy the high quality what a resin printer can do. Prusa has one, but it's too expensive. All right, so anyways, that's it. I am delighted with what I've seen with this. This is a crazy assembly book. I'm going to be looking over this and I'm going to be assembling this within the next week. And make sure that you check out my Thursdays show, which I do. I'm starting to do more Fusion videos, so if you haven't subscribed and liked, please do that. I don't think you need to like. Give me a thumbs down if you think I did a poor job here, but I think what's important is if you subscribe and hit the bell, I'll give you free Fusion content and kind of get you up and running. I just did one on sheet metal, and I'll do the next one. I'm really excited about is I'm actually going to do a scale drawing. So I'm going to take a model and show you how to make a 2-dimensional drawing so that you can go get that part quoted with that. But anyways, that's good, and I hope that you have a great Saturday, and I really appreciate you all being here. Thanks. Check me out here. Check out this 3D printing show next Saturday at 11 a.m. Take care. Bye.